Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this event by Hector D'Souza of Lorient Travels on the perspective of tourism. Before we start, I would request you all to put your videos and mics on mute, else we don't want to delay the transmission as we go through in this webinar. So the title is Perspectives on Tourism by Hector. And Hector is the founder of Lorient Travels, which was established in 1986. So it's been 34 years of Hector being in the travel business. He will be speaking about his observations on tourism based on his travel, mainly across India, Europe, and North America, spanning over 40 years. His observations and recommendations are supplemented with statistical data wherever available. Besides being an avid traveler, he has been documenting his travel for the past 25 years. He writes very well across different journals and publications. Let's listen to Hector as to what he says, suggests, and postulates after the dignified speakers have addressed all of us today. Before I continue, I must say Hector is the PR head of Scholar Club of Mumbai South, and he is very active in different forums. With us today are three distinguished members as well. I would introduce them one by one. We have Mrs. Madhura Kati, who is the Managing Editor, India, South and West Asia, eGlobal Travel Media, Australia. We also have Mr. Sheldon Santwan from, he's the Editor and CEO of Travel Biz Monitor, Mumbai. Welcome, Sheldon. And we also have Professor Dr. Prem Sagar Vivek, who is a former professor of sociology, University of Mumbai. He has taught the subject of sociology of travel and tourism at postgraduate level. So without any further ado, I will pass the mic to Madhura Kati, who can then take this forward, after which we will have Sheldon. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. Isn't it nice to be talking of travel after a long period of lull? It seems like a newfound freedom, the freedom which comes with many riders. We all know that tourism was the first and among the most affected sectors during this lockdown. Going forward, travel will be among the first sectors to bounce back, maybe at a cautious pace, for it is human nature to roam around and explore, especially waiting to set foot outside home after a long spell of lockdown. When there is caution, which all of us will learn to adhere to as it becomes a new normal and a necessity for all of us. Financially sound, avid travelers will be among the first to venture out. Nearby and long self-drive destinations, devoid of big crowds, will be considered safe. Meenakshi Sharma, a director at India Tourism, said during a recent webinar that the farthest will be the safest destinations for now. She also expressed her department's desire to spend on marketing domestic tourism for the first time. We all know that India, with an ancient, well-developed civilization and cultural diversity, offers many vivid attractions that each one of us may never be able to complete all in a lifetime. It's also a need of the hour to invoke nationality in us by traveling and promoting travel, of course, while adhering to all safety precautions to support more than 10% population that is directly or indirectly dependent on tourism. With a little extra sincere effort, we can include a portion of that displaced migrant population which is struggling to survive into tourism, while simultaneously taking pride in exploring one of Earth's oldest cultures, along with its well-evolved art, architecture, traditions, and cuisines that we all call our own. Food and agriculture tourism can be a potential frontrunner in this new era of slow travel. Yes, it's going to be a slow travel in many ways. There will be a need for more time during preparation and while traveling because of the new norms of lifestyle that are coming into effect. Indians traveling to different states or to different destinations within the state has always been a robust business. There were more than 1.86 billion domestic tourist visits last year, as against 18 million for tourist arrivals. That is 100 times more than the foreign arrivals. And it's growing at a double the rate of foreign tourist arrivals. What more? Domestic tourist market has always been resilient even during difficult situations. So there is a big opportunity to unearth, explore, and promote those rare hidden treasures of India while promoting the popular attractions and destinations. If those remote attractions were left out of the itinerary, lack of connectivity and infrastructure, think again. When capital cities like Paris and Madrid can create cycle paths on once crowded main roads, why can't we promote that last mile connectivity with cycling, hiking, or even bullock carting? Rugged roads can pass us adventure if packaged well. We all have to put the patience that we acquired during the lockdown to test. Slow or experiential travel as a niche segment is best suited for the current situation. It has many advantages too. It will be stress-free, more friendly to environment, help local communities, and it will give a sense of satisfaction to the traveler. Among the many lessons learned during our long home is the ability to appreciate forgotten or neglected age-old natural remedies available for healthy living. Travel to seek wellness will be a new trend. My grandpa used to say that different eras saw the dominance of one human factor. Like the righteousness was the dominant trait in one ancient era, while physical strength was looked up to in another. Intelligence powered the rest in a particular era, which followed with the material riches. All indications are pointing to an upcoming era of health and wellness. India, with its faith knowledge, will be a front runner in this direction. Food and medicine. Professor Gunda Joyce, who had collected a repository of ancient manuscripts for the museum he set up at his village that was once a capital of a flourishing kingdom that traded spices worldwide centuries ago, had mentioned during our meeting that there are scriptures that detailedly mention of natural cures for different ailments. Even food and spices used in our everyday cooking act as medicines if administered precisely. Each environment and season calls for a particular food. While promoting India's diverse cuisine, let's also lay stress on consuming locally available cuisine rather than insisting just on standardized dal makhani or gulab jamuns. As travelers, let's keep our minds open to accept new local cuisine of the area that will be best for us in that particular environment. We are lucky to have survived a kind of apocalypse. Let's be grateful to what we have and get especially to it on our best interest. Wellness is a holistic health that includes physical, mental, and beyond. Did I say beyond? Yes. That beyond includes the health of our surroundings and the society we live in. Earth is brimming with many times more the population that it can support. That doesn't mean that we all have to vanish. We can still live comfortably if we follow Mahatma Gandhi's saying, there is enough on this earth for everyone's need, but not for greed. Tourism has the capacity to lead mankind as it binds everyone in some way or the other. We all know that Bali is among the leading tourist destinations of the world. People of this small island in Indonesia make a traveler feel at home with their charming, simple, friendly, and friendly hospitality that comes from their philosophy of life, Trihita Karana. The philosophy that was adopted from our own forefathers centuries ago elaborates into a universal balanced living with fellow beings that includes all living beings, balance with the environment, and finally with the Almighty. So simply put, in It encapsulates the whole human behavior into a simple frame, making it easy to understand and follow. Let's all follow that. Sri Hitakarana. Thank you all for being patient audience. Over to you, Thomas.